Thank you, Emily, and welcome everyone to our session today on starting a dental assistant pathway program. Now, whether you're starting a brand new program or even searching for content to build some courses, today we're going to share some links, some information, tools, and also some materials offered by Realityworks that we hope will help jumpstart your pathway. We're going to begin first by discussing a little bit about just how you begin to build that dental assistant pathway. And we are going to learn, especially from Jen Price today, about certifications, and we're going to be talking about some other credentialing agencies. We will be sharing links to many different hands-on resources and lesson plans, talk a little bit about the curriculum we have to offer and some additional free resources. And then at the end, we are going to open it up for any Q&A that you might have regarding any of the content that we share today. So, how do you build a dental assistant pathway? Well, when you begin, there are many different places you can start and a whole lot of resources you can go to. So we're going to take a look at the pathways, first of all, that really pertain to the health science career cluster. And you can see that something like a dental assistant course of study will fall squarely within that therapeutic services pathway. Now, as you begin to look at what you need for this area, one really helpful website that we've found to go to is www.careertech.org/career-clusters. If you go to that link, you're going to find a plan of study worksheet, and that worksheet is editable. So here's a sample plan of study for health science. It's that therapeutic services pathway, but this could be used as a planning tool to help lay out the sequence of courses that you're going to need in your plan of study. And we are going to share some resources today that can help you build out your plan of study. But first, let's consider what really makes an effective dental assistant program. And here are the 6 key elements for developing career pathways. And these elements are important to consider really for any pathway program that you're going to develop, including health science. So as we go forward with the rest of the webinar, we're going to revisit these 6 key elements, and we're going to consider how you could use them as a guide in the development of any health science career pathway, especially as you focus your sights on a dental assistant program. Now, where should you begin? One very helpful place we like to start with is those health science standards from the National Consortium for Health Science Education. And they've recently done an update of the standards, so they're very current, but their standards provide a clear and consistent understanding of both industry and post-secondary expectations for health science teachers and for students. So these standards were designed to provide, if you think of it, the essential knowledge common across all health professions as you prepare to increase the number of students that will be college and career ready. And you can access these standards from the link we've provided above. But really, when you start to look at these standards, they provide measurable accountability, and they're really a very comprehensive framework and validation for what you're going to include. Another good place to go to find standards for dental assistant programs is the Commission on Dental Accreditation. And they have an accreditation document at this link that will identify specific standards that programs must meet for program accreditation. So these were developed for a few different reasons that I'd like to share with you. They developed these, their standards for protection of the public, to serve as a guide for dental assisting program development. They said third, to serve as a stimulus for the improvement of established programs. Fourth, to provide criteria for the evaluation of new and established programs. And of course, fifth, to protect those enrolled students. And we also did notice that these standards are followed by the Skills USA competitive event in dental assisting. So another really good place for information to go to. Another one we'd like to mention is Common Career Technical Core Standards. And there are core standards specific to health science. And when you look at them, they include specific measurable performance objectives for the health science career cluster in general. And then they also have specific ones for each pathway within that cluster. So you'd review the standards that apply to the pathway as you're developing your content to ensure that you're teaching those basic core competencies in your program. And again, if you think back to that slide I shared earlier, it's part of that 6 key elements where you're designing the education and training programs. Now, this URL that you see on the screen here is also a good resource to become familiar with. There are specific knowledge and skill statements for the health science career cluster in general here. And also each specific pathway, including therapeutic, has knowledge and skills identified that your students should know, as well as, again, an editable template that will help you develop the course for your plan of study. So a very, very helpful place to go. And here's an example of one of those knowledge and skill statements that is at that website, but it's specific to the therapeutic services career pathway, which is where dental assisting programs fit. And you can see that this example focuses on effective communication. So if you're building a dental assistant program, think about, do your courses include that type of content? Are you teaching patient communication skills and other soft skills, as well as those technical skills? And then later on in the webinar, we're going to show you how you can weave in more soft skills, and we're going to provide some links to some content and some hands-on resources as well. So building an advisory council is really an important step, because involving local dentist industry leaders and clinical professionals in your pathway development, we think is a really critical step. How can you understand what your local employers are looking for in a dental professional if you're not asking? So consider putting together a dental advisory council. You could choose people from a variety of settings and levels of responsibility, because you want to get a variety of viewpoints and, of course, input. You could meet on a regular basis, perhaps even quarterly, but have really frank discussions and dialogue, asking, what are you looking for in your dental employees? And then, does your course content align with what they are looking for in the dental assistants that they're hiring? You could even use your advisory council members to form more partnerships. Are they willing to allow students to go to their location for either field or job experience, or even some job shadowing? Also, are they interested in coming in potentially to be a guest speaker in your classes? And then if you think back to the 6 key things that I shared in that one slide, engaging employers is one of those 6 key elements for developing career pathways, as you've seen in that slide. Now, another area that can help identify the skills you'll be teaching in your dental assisting programs is to look at those industry recognized credentials or certifications for dental assisting. And we're going to look at some information now on that. We know that a lot of districts require that any sort of career pathway created lead to an industry recognized certification or credential of some sort if possible. And in order to find the right credentials or certifications for your program, ask some of the following questions. First of all, does your state Department of Ed recommend a specific certification type or a testing agency? Think about what kind of instructors and background experience do they need to have in order to teach specifically here a dental assisting course? Again, thinking about what are your local employers looking for, and think about that advisory council. Is employment transferable? Are you teaching a transferable career skills? And then what's the cost of certification or credentials? And how would you either absorb that cost, or is that something that you pass along to the student? Or how do you handle that type of thing as well? So all really good questions and things to be thinking about as you mull over industry recognized certifications and credentials. At this time, I'm going to hand it off to Jen Price, and she is going to share some information specific to her organization. And welcome, Jen. We are delighted to have you today.
Great. Thank you so much for asking me to be here and be a part of this. And thank you all for those of you who are participating and interested in creating a dental assisting program. Dental assisting is such a valuable and rewarding career, and there is such a shortage of dental assistants right now. So this is something that is so important, and creating a program could really help make a big difference in your community as well as in the dental industry. So I'm here to talk a little bit about DANB certifications. The certification that would be of most interest to you in starting a new program, especially a program focused on high school students is DANB's National Entry-Level Dental Assisting Certification, our NELDA certification. That is a certification that was specifically developed for those just starting out in the profession, those who are new to the dental industry and looking for really kind of that place to grow and build a career. You may have heard of DANB's Certified Dental Assistant certification. That's really the gold standard in the dental industry for dental assistants. And it is a certification that's held by more than 35,000 dental assistants. It's recognized in many states across the country. So it makes a big difference. And you'll see across the bottom of your screen there, digital badges for a number of DANB certifications. We have 7 certifications in total. Many are geared specifically towards the dental assistant, but we do have infection control related certifications that are for all dental team members. So some really great stuff. Next slide, please. So a little bit more regarding DANB's NELDA certification. It is comprised of 3 different exams, 3 different areas of learning. So that is radiation health and safety, the RHS, ICE, infection control, and the AMP, which is anatomy, morphology, and physiology. So those looking to earn DANB's NELDA certification would take and pass those 3 exams, as well as meet some other requirements for certification. Those include holding CPR and having the CPR BLS training, as well as completing a program. So if you're starting a program, there is a way you can register your program with DANB so it can be accepted as a NELDA recognized educational program, and that will really help make a big difference. NELDA is fantastic because it is really a fantastic launching pad into other certifications and some great career opportunities. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about why certification and why it's important. When you're considering starting a dental assisting program, one of the things that is important is looking at the structure in your community, in your school, within your state and your state's Department of Education. I know there are some states around the country that do require a certification to be earned in terms of receiving funding to help pay for the cost of that program. So that could be an important consideration for you. DANB has also done some research and determined that pride, confidence, commitment, new opportunities, and career growth are a really important part of why individuals seek out certification. One of the most important elements of why people choose certification is pay. Our annual salary and satisfaction survey show that certified dental assistants earn $4 more per hour than non-certified assistants. Please excuse me for a minute. I'm losing my. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully my voice is returned. In addition to CDAs earning about $4 more per hour than non-certified assistants, individuals that hold more than 1 certification tend to earn on average $6 more per hour than those who do not have a certification. So there's some very exciting information and data behind there. If you're looking for data that you want to share with your programs and those involved, and the link to that is included in the PowerPoint presentation. Next slide, please. So one of the important benefits of NELDA certification and why it makes such a big difference for high school students and or those just entering the profession is it is very easy to transition from that national entry-level dental assisting certification, the NELDA, to the certified dental assisting. So you'll see on the screen, if you look at that visual of the exams required, the RHS and the ICE exams were required to earn DANB's NELDA certification. So if somebody is looking to move on to earn the CDA, as long as they do that within 5 years, take and pass that GC exam, which is DANB's general chairside exam, they will not have to retake the RHS and ICE exams. So this is a great way for them to be essentially 2 steps closer to earning their CDA. So one difference regarding the general chairside exam and why that's not a part of the NELDA certification is because it does have some eligibility requirements. So those who want to sit for the general chairside, that GC exam, need to have worked in the dental setting for 3,500 hours or more, so a period of approximately 2 years, or have graduated from a CODA accredited dental assisting program. So positioning this, especially with high school students and or those just entering the dental profession, as really that great stepping stone and entry point that gets them closer. It helps break up the certification and that road to CDA into really bite-sized chunks that makes a significant difference. Next slide, please. So Denise talked a little bit about DANB exams being recognized in different states and how they're acknowledged. And we do have a fantastic map on our website. You can go to the tab, it's called State Requirements, and click on the tab for your state and learn more about specific requirements for dental assisting in your state. And you'll see that those states highlighted in that darker blue color are states where DANB exams are recognized. So having your students earn the NELDA certification will very likely give them a leg up if they are in a situation where they need to move or transfer states in the future. So that DANB Radiation Health and Safety, the RHS exam, is an exam that is required or recognized in quite a few states. And having that completed and done early in the career will make a difference for those who could potentially be moving out of states, moving to new places. Perhaps they live in a place where they can be working in 2 states at the same time. It does make a difference, and it makes that transition and the opportunity to meet requirements in different states much easier. Next slide, please. On DANB's websites, one of the tools you will find that is really helpful for preparing for DANB exams is exam outlines. One of the reasons I want to point this out as well is it's also extremely helpful to building the competencies that you want to include in your dental assisting program. So even if for some reason your program was not necessarily pursuing DANB's NELDA certification as a part of the program requirements, these outlines are really helpful in building what you will want to teach to those entry-level dental professionals. It provides a lot of exceptional foundational knowledge that, as we've been working with a number of dental assisting programs at the high school level and beyond across the country, those who have taken these outlines and really incorporated them into their program and the competencies they're using as a part of their program have excelled and are seeing a lot of success with their students as they go on to graduate and move out into the community to work as dental assistants or in other dental professions within the industry. So these really serve as a great roadmap and guideline as you're building your program.
Jen, thank you for that wealth of information. Yeah. And I will tell you, we used these exact outlines when we went forward with outlining and developing our brand new series of dental products that we're going to be sharing in just a little bit here. But this was our roadmap. We use these for the content development in our lesson plans, and we found them to be extremely helpful. So thanks for including this, because I'd forgotten just how helpful and how much we relied on these as we developed our content and our products.
Great, thank you so much.
That was excellent. So now we've got a few other national organizations with some related dental assisting certifications and credentials that we would like to make you aware of as well. And I'll just list a few of these. One is the American Medical Technologists, and the AMT. They have the Registered Dental Assistant, the RDA certification. And this is one that we talked to them, and they also offer this at many high schools. So that's a really good one to look for if you're especially at the high school level. The American Medical Certification Association also has a dental support technician certification. And again, the links are there. We're providing them to you. So if you want to learn more about any one of these credentials or certifications, you can go right to their website. NOCD, the National Occupational Competency Testing Institute, has a specific dental assisting certification as well. And the National Board for Certification in Dental Lab Technology has something called the National Dental Technician. So again, a few more dental certifications to think about. And competitions or assessments. There are several out there. Skills USA, they have a specific dental assisting competitive event. And during that competitive event, students are asked to demonstrate procedures specified in the accreditation standards for dental assisting education programs from the Commission on Dental Accreditation that I shared earlier. So they go right to them for what they've included in that competitive event. The National Consortium for Health Science Education, they offer a national health science assessment. That's also a great one to point out, especially at the high school level. And then for another competitive event, HOSA, of course, they have a variety. They have so many different knowledge and skills competitions, but two of the ones specific to dental are, there's one called the secondary and post-secondary collegiate health science event on dental terminology. And then there's a health professions event for dental science. So if you are a CTSO advisor, those are a few that you can point your students to as well. We also see vendors from time to time with certifications, and we are aware of one called UScience. They are a member of the National Consortium for Health Science Education, along with DANB and Realityworks, and they have 3 different levels of dental assistant certifications for dental science 1, 2, and 3. And if you go to that link, you can find out more about each of the specific 1, 2, and 3, and what skills are tested at each of those different levels. So now that we've looked at some of the roadmap for putting together the content, where to go for certifications, we would like to share some sources of some hands-on resources that we have available and that are recommended for dental assistants. So a brand new one that we just launched this spring that we're very proud of is our dental palpation simulator. And our simulator will give your students that safe but hands-on practice conducting intraoral and extraoral head and neck examinations. They really feel when they do those examinations very lifelike with the soft skin. We've got the soft tissues both inside and then also the external head and neck areas. We've got some things that are insertable, like lymph nodes, things for facial asymmetry, but then there's also some 6 to 8 different abnormalities that are a permanent part of the interior soft tissues that students do the examination, and they go inside and they find those. We also have some inserts that you can put into it, the trainer, and your students can do an oral examination and they can find those things and identify what they are. We've got curriculum with that. And then we also do have some scenario cards. We're big on scenario-based learning, and it puts students into a dental assistant day in the life, if you will, and they've got some problem solving to do around handling things with brand new dental patients. And then there's also scenarios for conducting those intraoral and extraoral examinations. So this is a wonderful new product that we're very, very excited to make available. Another one that we've got is our dental anatomy model set. And if you go on our website and click on this new product, you will find 14 new models. And these models help to prepare your students with that foundational knowledge for dental anatomy, morphology, and physiology. And if you remember back to the outline that Jen shared for some of their different certifications, that was a big one. And we used that as the foundation for identifying the models we felt would be helpful, and then also putting together some of the lesson plans. And then our third new dental product is the dental safety training kit. And there's really two distinct portions to this. You've got one part that is teaching all about personal protective equipment and sterilization. And then you've got another part that's teaching all about dental radiation safety and infection control. And again, we're using scenario-based learning with scenario cards and lesson plans to put students in all sorts of different situations where they have to problem solve and identify and solve things all around dental safety. And this, again, you can find more information on our website about that. And again, we did use the DANB or the NELDA certification outlines to help us identify what was the most important content that we wanted to put in this particular product. So just a great new scenario-based kit for dental. And for those of you starting a brand new dental assistant pathway program from scratch, we offer what we call a pathway package. And this is the suggested dental products that we have. And we put it all together on one really nice large package. All of the items come with curricula. So if you're brand new, you have all of these interactive simulators and models and programs along with lesson plans. And it will help save your staff tons of time, but make it very engaging. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can also go to the link on our webpage, and you can find all sorts of information about the number of content hours and more information on each of the pieces that are part of that pathway package. Here's just a little bit of the contents in there and the number of items that we have for the different simulators and models and products. So you can see all of these things teach important skills, whether it be foundational or hands-on technical skills that dental assistants need to know. And then if you think about what we talked about earlier on, once you see the variety of hands-on resources and things available, you can begin to plan how to use these in the courses that you have in your plan of study. And if you already have simulators and task trainers, like some of these, you can plug those in the holes, and then you can see where the gaps are. But those types of hands-on products or hands-on resources really make the learning sticky and help your students to retain the knowledge. So what about curriculum? Well, we know that curriculum is going to form the content backbone really to any effective plan of study. And what you teach is just as important as how you teach it. So think back to those 6 key elements, and that's where we can also help you. We can help you design your health science, especially dental program plan of study, the types of courses and the content. And then we have dozens and dozens of lesson plans from a variety of our curriculum that we provide with these learning resources that we listed on the slide just prior to this one. And we've reviewed all of them and put them into that pathway package for you. So it saves you a lot of time. And that particular pathway package, everything rolled up could be anywhere from 30 to 42 hours of teaching content, depending on how deep you want to go into some of the lessons and some of the activities. But just a great starting point, especially if you're starting a brand new program. And again, once you see the breadth of curriculum or content that's available, you can also figure out how to plug that into your plan of study as well. So here's a great visual that we found from the National Consortium for Health Science Education that really summarizes how the health science career cluster leads to filling the gaps we have in health science careers, especially dental assistants here. First, it begins with the awareness in early grades, and then it gradually progresses to foundational knowledge and skills through high school, and then of course leading to specialized knowledge and skills learned through post-secondary coursework and then experience in the workplace. So we thought that this summarized that whole journey, if you will, very, very well and succinctly. So we know that dental assistants will always be in demand, and Jen earlier on spoke to the need for dental assistants, and there are just so many opportunities for your students to find work in this area. It's a really growing area, and it's one that we certainly have a gap to be filled in the workforce. So before we open it up for Q&A, we just have a few more things that we want to share. First of all, some free resources. We'd like to point out that we do webinars every month, and many of them are related to health science topics. Some are specific to dental like today, but some are more broad. But we would urge you to come back every month or so and see what's new on the list and sign up. And again, if you can't attend live, we do record everything, and you can find dozens of topics also in our archived section of our website. We also have a few more resources for your classroom at the following links. We have posters in both specific to dental and also general health science. They're infographics that you can print, put up for reference. We also have career exploration lessons. We have a whole 1-week unit specific to the dental career cluster or pathway rather. There are 5 lessons in that one, but then we also have some general health science, and we have a unit specific to sports medicine and general therapeutic services. So if you are looking to augment your career exploration or exposure, check them out. You might find a few of the lessons, ones that you can easily supplement what you're already doing. Another area that we like to be very busy in is, of course, social media. And we do have a blog and lots of different content on the blog. It's always updated with new content. We're frequently having guest bloggers, product launches, trends in the industry. So you might want to check that out. We also do have Facebook and Twitter. So if you're looking for more information or even want to engage with some other teachers about what they are doing in their classroom, great places to go. And at this time, we've got a few more free resources that we thought were definitely worth a mention as I was doing the research for this webinar. And the first link here has 8 free videos on a variety of dental assisting topics, from career exploration or information all the way to PPE. And the first link happens to be from the University of Florida College of Dentistry. The second link is to a packet of information and activities on a variety of different dental careers. The third link is a 52-page training curriculum, and on page 40 of it, there's a section on interview questions followed by tips for being successful. So if you're preparing your students for doing things like job interviews, that might be really, really helpful. And then the fourth one is YouTube dental assistant career exploration videos, and there are tons of them out there. And a lot of them are very short, would fit nicely into any kind of class time you might have. But this particular one that I've got on the screen now, it's just an example, but it happens to be an 8-minute video. And we think it's just good quality and would fit nicely into a dental assistant career exploration lesson. So a few more right before we open it up for Q&A. And I know Emily has been watching the chat box. Em, do you see any questions today for Jen or myself on any of the content that we've covered?
Thanks, Denise. Great job to you both. I am not seeing any questions or comments yet. Perhaps all of our attendees are just digesting all of the awesome information you just shared. On that note, though, now is the time for any questions, so we can give folks a moment or two to type away if they had any thoughts or concerns as you both were just sharing your information. While they're doing that, I have a question. Because you just shared so many awesome resources and tips and links and information, where would you suggest folks do if they're going to do one thing following today's presentation? Check out one website, explore one resource. First, what would you suggest?
I can't limit it to one. I'd have 2. I would say go out to the NELDA certification on the DANB website. That is where we started for all of our new dental program development, because that was the content, that was the blueprint we followed for what we needed to include in our simulators and in our scenario-based programs, so that we knew what students were learning and the skills and the foundational knowledge they needed. So that's my first. And then of course, the second would be go check out the new product page for dental products on the Realityworks website, because we've got a lot more of photos and on the products. We've got curriculum samples, we've got curriculum overviews and outlines, and a lot of exciting new information there about all of our dental product line, and I would really love to see people go there and learn more.
Awesome. Thank you, Denise. And in fact, thank you also to Jen. As you were chatting, she shared a link to the NELDA certifications and information that you were just referencing. So thank you for that. Wonderful. We do have a question. Raquel is wondering when will the PowerPoint slides be shared? I'm delighted to tell all the attendees, yes, you will absolutely get the slides, the links, all the information that Denise and Jen just shared. We'll send that email, an email containing that information to your inbox within the next 24 hours. So just keep an eye in your inbox. We do have one of our attendees wondering, Denise or Jen, I'm not sure which one of you wants to answer this, but they're wondering if the curriculum is connected to CODA accreditation requirements.
Our particular lesson plans, we looked to the NELDA certification outlines when we aligned to that. So we didn't look specifically at the CODA one for what we developed, but I think there's probably a lot of overlap there anyway.
There is, and Denise, when DANB developed the exam outlines, we do refer to the CODA accreditation standards, and our subject matter experts, our SMEs, do keep those in mind when they are building the exam outlines and preparing any education from the Dale Foundation side of things and or the exams from the DANB side of our organization. With that said, there are CODA accreditation requirements that go above and beyond the education that would be provided by Realityworks or Dale Foundation, or beyond the exams themselves, including, internship, externship, shadowing time, and dental practices. CODA accreditations include things like recommended instructor to student ratios. So those are the type of things that you wouldn't find specific to an exam, but they are the NELDA exam outlines and the CODA accreditation standards for dental assisting programs are two tools that are really great to use together if you're looking to build your program, especially if you're looking for down the road seeking CODA accreditation.
Awesome. Great answer. Thanks you both. I am not seeing any other questions in the Q&A session or chats in the chat zone. So I suspect you answered everyone's questions. For all attendees, again, just to repeat, keep an eye on your inbox. We will send you a link to today's recording, their presentation slides, and all the other information that was shared today. And if you happen to think of any questions or concerns after we conclude today's presentation, feel free to contact us directly at information@realityworks.com, or you can reply to the emails you'll receive in the next 24 hours. Thanks everyone for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you all. Have a great day.